You take a pound of powdered nostalgia and you sift it through some rose-colored glasses, and what do you get? Episode 16 of the Fresh Baked Niche podcast, where the best half-baked conversations happen. I'm your baker, Patrick, and today we got some gaming to do. And not just with ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Yep, there's the first mess up, and that's staying in. We got a guest today. Hi, buddy.
Hey man, how's it going?
Good.
You know, just knowing that I'm being recorded always gives you the jitters. Even though, like, you stream, and it feels natural.
I'm going to be honest. I am much more natural on a video because I think I can kind of step back. I can re-edit things. I can re-say things if need be.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm streaming, it is so much worse. I just lock up and don't say things half the time.
Yep. When it's out there, and there's no taking it back.
No, especially if you got, like, VODs. But that's besides the point. So, yeah, so today we got what I'm calling the 3x3. We're going to talk about 3 of our favorite consoles, not in necessarily any order, as well as 3 games for each of those consoles. Again, not in any order. But before that, as always, and I probably should have prepped you on this one, I realize I did not. I always like to say something I've done recently within whatever the topic is, and since it's video games, I'm going to say a video game I've been playing recently is Hello Kitty Island Adventure. It's still alright.
Hell, yes.
Dude, it's such a good game, and honestly, the new updates made it better, because, like, my biggest gripe was the resources not being as plentiful as they could have been.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels so much better now. My only biggest issue is I got a lot of, like, friendships before the update, and now, like, all the friendship quests are happening simultaneously, and it's like, okay, this is a little too much.
Oh, yeah, I could see something like that happening.
Yeah, because, like,
I personally haven't played it, but, like, right now it's the girlfriend's comfort game.
Understandable,
so she's
dude.
Been playing it almost every night.
I do it, like, right with my Animal Crossing, because it's, for me, just another chore simulator.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you do your daily gifts and you call it a day, but I don't know, it's cute, it's fun, I mean, I like the characters. I mean, Sanrio's just fun. There's a reason it's so popular.
Yeah, I was surprised to see, just kind of looking over her shoulder, that Agretzko got representation. Like, I knew it was Sanrio, but I was not expecting to see her.
Oh, no, I mean,
relevant.
I don't want to necessarily spoil or anything, but, like, I'm at a point now where, like, so certain people get, like, family members to visit, so you can have, like, Hello Kitty's boyfriend shows up, or Cinnamoroll's siblings. Well, I did some mission, and all of a sudden, now, like, Fenico has the opportunity to come to the island.
Nice.
So it's like, oh, it's not just Retsuko, it's more. So, you know, I really appreciate that. And Sunbeam or whatever, they're doing a great job. But I guess
I'm curious to see just how well the game continues across its lifespan.
Well, I mean, it's been going strong since it started on mobile, like 2-3 years ago. So, I mean, hopefully it'll just keep rolling through.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the question is, what's a game you've been playing recently?
I've been playing a lot of Claire Obscure Expedition 33 for short.
How's that been?
Familiar with that one at all?
I am familiar enough. I've been trying to stay away from spoilers because I managed to secure a physical copy, but it's still in the mail.
Yeah, it has been a great time. Delightfully tragic at times, but the combat just keeps making me come back.
I've heard, and I'd love your opinion, that this is one of arguably the best turn-based RPGs we've had in a long time.
Yes, I'm inclined to agree.
And honestly, the fact that we're at a point where I just lost the thought. Like, the fact that we're at a point where literally an indie studio of like 30-some people are able to put something out like this and kind of revolutionize what would arguably be a dying genre is amazing.
Yeah. I think it definitely took a lot of good notes from Persona 5, especially in terms of, like, sheer aesthetic.
Interesting, okay.
Across its world and systems.
Yeah.
And, like, the inclusion of the dodge and parry system, and, like, the minor action commands you'll get with some attacks. It's just been delightful. And the degree of customization you also have over your characters is a welcome change.
No, that's really awesome to hear. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, it's in the mail. I am looking forward to starting it up. I got a buddy who's already finished it, and from my understanding, he loved it too. So,
Yeah, I would not be surprised if it gets, well, it's almost certain to get some kind of award at the end of the year. I won't be surprised if it's nominated,
I,
and I'm
I,
hopeful it
I
could even get Game of the Year.
I'd say I could see
But
it definitely getting a nomination for Game of the Year. It'd be really cool if it won, but I have a sneaking suspicion just because of how things are, that's gonna weirdly go to something else. Like, hell, it could even go to like the new Donkey Kong, just for the sake of it's from a AAA studio.
true, that or new Mario Kart if it just absolutely dominates the field.
Well, I get my copy Thursday, and I'll let you know how it is.
Sounds good. I'm still haven't managed to secure a pre-order, but I am trying.
Well, definitely best of luck. I know it was rough out there, and I know every single day I am so thankful that I've been able to at least maintain a pre-order because I got mine through Walmart and keep hearing like I still to this day I'm hearing horror stories of people who like they're getting ripped out of their accounts, and it's like, is mine
Yeah.
next? But no, it seems fine.
Like, just considering my work schedule, I think my best bet is going to be trying some of the more obscure stores that happen to be carrying them. Like, I know Costco might have some, there's a couple Staples locations that'll have some.
Hmm.
So, fingers
Okay.
crossed, not enough people are considering those as options that I can just sneak in and yoink one under everyone's noses.
Oh, I mean that's definitely a good idea. I certainly would not think of Staples, but I do know they've had stuff in the past at certain stores.
Hmm.
So no, that's definitely a good pick. But yeah, no, we'll definitely have to see. And as I said, I'm very excited for Expedition 33. It's like I said, I've heard nothing but good things.
Yes, and I will continue to reiterate good things.
Actually, I should note I did hear one bad thing, but it was literally just some dude just slobbing the knob of the big companies and basically saying, "Guys, we shouldn't get overhyped by some indie studio. It's not healthy to obsess over an indie game like this." And it's like, buddy,
Like, this is a genuinely good gaming experience,
yeah.
and it kind of helps set the tone that a lot of the big AAA stuff that is being churned out just isn't quite cutting it anymore. You need people who, you know, make games as a passion rather than a business.
Well, I think the problem is you need just like business overhead to just kind of disappear a little bit and let the developers do their thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Because, yeah, I will say, I did take an informal survey like a few weeks ago, and of all
Mhm.
the people who answered it, they said the systems, with what they can perform and at their current prices and even into their future prices, they said they're fine.
Mhm.
But games, as they are and as they're going to be, are not delivering where they should be. And I think
Mhm.
that's really telling, is that the hardware is fine, the software is fucked.
Yeah, like, I don't foresee graphics getting all that much better or more realistic. I think at this point, style is going to be much more important, and I would rather have, like, a shorter, more refined experience by, like, smaller studios that pay their devs more to work less.
No, I mean, that's completely fair, and I mean, that kind of hits the nail on the head. I think we're at a point where you need to stop making it photorealistic. Or at least optimize it if you're going to do that, because, like, let's be real, there's no reason, like, Warzone should be a 30 plus gigabyte game.
Like, anything over
It's.
100, I start to raise an eyebrow. Like, where are you putting your resources? Are you even trying to optimize, or do you just put in giant 3D renders of your characters and call it a day?
There's just, like, one object that got the Yandere dev treatment where it's just 1,000 polygons.
Or it'll be like the Pokemon Sun and Moon situation where you'll have like dozens of instances of the story NPCs, each one for their own uh, story moment.
Yeah. It's yucky. But yeah, that's I think definitely a story for a different day.
Oh yeah, I think we're getting a little sidetracked.
That's fine, it happens. I always say the beauty of this is that it's like friends talking over a kitchen counter, so
Hmm.
you know, conversations flow like a river. You don't quite know where they're going. But I
But
guess we
as long
should.
as you enjoy the ride, it doesn't really matter.
Yes, sir. But yeah, so let's kick this thing off. So just to explain to the viewers, so we're doing what I'm calling a 3x3. The simple concept is we each have three consoles that we like. Not necessarily like a top three, just three we very much enjoy. And to make it a 3x3, we also have three games for those systems, because obviously I would say the games make the system overall. So we picked our favorite games once again, not in like a top three. Like these aren't a definitive de facto list, but it's what I would say is good enough. So to kick things off, my number one, not my number one. It's the first one on my list because I do have a list in front of me. Is the Nintendo GameCube.
Hell yes.
I think I don't know how to put this in proper words. It's a statement piece. I would say Nintendo at its peak, right as it was going towards the Wii, but I still think it's slightly better than the Wii. And only because, and this was a point that my buddy Jimmy made, and I'm just shout out to Jimmy. The GameCube had and made games that Nintendo would never make nowadays. Conceptually and just the theming. Because let's be honest, they went a little bit more mature with this system in a really good way. So,
can you give some examples?
Yeah,
like,
so I
know
would
that they
say
had,
like Resident
a
Evil
couple-
4.
Okay.
On top of like the Resident Evil 1 and 2 remasters. Like they were willing to bring those to this system, and let's be honest, up until this point Nintendo was relatively family friendly. And to all of a sudden be like, hey, look, actual blood and gore, like that's sick, that's awesome.
Yeah, and even some of their like flagship franchises, Metroid with the Prime series and Zelda, not so much with Wind Waker, but especially Twilight Princess, kind of getting the T for teen treatment.
Well, for sure. And I think that was giving, I would say, respect to your audience, because let's be honest, for a lot of us, we grew up with these systems, and all of a sudden going from like the N64 generation to the GameCube generation, or even starting in the GameCube generation, it gave you the respect of being like a young adult. Even if you were not quite at that point, it gave you that respect, and it was like, look, there's literally games for everybody on this thing, because we got your yippee wahoo sunshines, but we also got like your Resident Evils.
Agreed.
So it did a good job, and I think it's very iconic. Now, getting into the games, I would like to say it's funny that you made mention of something, because on my list is in fact The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
It's one of my first Zelda games I really got into, because prior to that, my only exposure with Zelda was the original Legend of Zelda for the NES. So
I think that was the same for me, because even I played most of the early Zelda games on GameCube. Like they had the Ocarina of Time plus Master Quest.
Yeah.
And then there was also like the collection that had like 1, 2, and Majora's Mask or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And Ocarina, of course.
Yeah.
But I remember Christmas morning, that was one of the games that was included on my list.
But yeah, but like Wind Waker was like the first one like I really got into. I mean, the story was, let's be honest, one of the most unique out of the franchise, even today. It was a solid action-adventure piece, and I mean, stylistically, it was one of the better, like, cel-shaded looking games. And I mean, just the whole open ocean vibe. It had just a really nice resonance for me as a child.
Yeah, I think Wind Waker absolutely nailed, like, the exploration of the world better than most other Zelda games up until, like, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom.
Well, it's crazy to think. Yeah. Like it's
You just had like for every major island you had to go to as part of the story, there were like 7 extras of varying degrees of quality. I'll give it that.
yeah, but you
Where
also had
you
like
can just kinda
outposts.
go explore.
Yeah, and there was like the Bokoblin outpost. There was like the sea monsters. It was a nice title. It did a very good job.
Mhm. I think like the only thing that could have made it better for me was a few more dungeons. Because I think final experience we only had 5, 6 if you count Ganon's castle.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. I do feel like maybe like 1 or 2 extras would have been good. I don't think like I would want more than what we got, but maybe not as much as say like Breath of the Wild shrines, where there's one around every corner.
Yeah.
Because
Like,
I think the little side stories and the NPC characters is what really sold it.
mhm. I also think it could have trimmed down. This is not necessarily a dig at the Triforce Hunt. I'm actually pretty okay with it outside of having to farm rupees.
Mm-hmm.
It's more that the final 2 temples, Earth and Wind, have kind of the same gimmick of taking control of your partner.
Yeah, and especially being like basically back to back. It's
Mm-hmm.
yeah. No, I can see that. Like I'm not gonna say it's perfect, but it's I think it does a good job, and I think the fact that it's being brought to Nintendo Switch 2 on NSO is quite the statement piece in itself.
Agreed.
But I mean, as far as this little list is concerned, I would honestly say it's probably the bottom of the 3 I'm about to say.
Mm-hmm.
Because my number 2 is Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, and of course I gotta pick that one. That was like my first real RPG, and that's like the first one I actually played start to finish all on my own. Like it's I mean, I don't think I ever did like the Pit of 100 Trials or anything, but
Mm-hmm.
I have so many good memories of like coming home after school and just playing this for a few hours every day. Like it's so good. I mean, the music is iconic. The characters are goofy and endearing. And I mean, I really am going to be honest, I think the Paper Mario aesthetic is just too good.
Yeah, like later entries in the Paper Mario series, Origami King comes to mind, do kind of take advantage of the whole paper aesthetic, even kind of further beyond what Thousand Year Door could do. But it kind of comes at the cost of like the actual RPG mechanics. They play it relatively safe with the story and like additional side characters that join you on your adventure.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. Although I will say, I think the Origami King definitely picked up the slack because, I mean, I haven't played Sticker Star yet. I do own it. I just haven't played it. But like Color Splash sucked. Sticker Star was apparently really bad. I think Origami King was definitely better, but I'm not as big of a fan as them actually truly leaning into the fact that they are in a paper world and they're made of paper. I kind of like that it's just a added effect.
Yeah, like old school Mario or Paper Mario is like it's an RPG with a paper aesthetic, while the newer games are more like it's a paper game with an RPG aesthetic.
Yeah.
And it feels like their priorities are a little bit backwards.
Just a little bit. And I mean, it's it's kind of a shame, but hopefully maybe one day we'll get something back to form that's not a remake, but who knows. But
like being Thousand Year Door again on Switch has been a real nice trip down memory lane.
Well, it was refreshing, I would say, to see it, although I think it came at not a great time per se, considering all the Mario content we got around the same time.
That's fair as well.
Because, we had, like, the original Mario RPG come out. We had Brothership come out. Like, it was just a lot of RPG Mario games to come out at the same time, then also be like, oh, by the way, everyone's literal favorite Paper Mario title is now available in beautiful HD.
Yes.
But, I mean, I feel like at that point it's starting to get, like, a little nitpicky, but, maybe one day we'll see, like, another new title and maybe it'll be more, hey, children, I'm going to tell you the story of the hero Mario and how he did something. But, unfortunately, as far as this list is concerned, it does not compare to at least my number 1. And this is truly, funny enough, my actual probably number 1 GameCube game of all time, and that's
Mhm.
Custom Robo.
Right.
I love Custom Robo. I even got a friend in college hooked on to it so much that it's one of his favorite titles too.
Mhm.
It is so good. Let me take some water and I want to explain why.
Go for it. Yeah, I vaguely recall playing it once or twice back when we were kids.
Yeah, well, it's so good. So for those who don't know, it is a robot fighting game where you customize your little dude, and you're in a really small arena because unfortunately the cube couldn't make them too big, and also previous entries didn't have large arenas, so they were kind of small. But the idea is, I shoot you, you shoot me, and whoever gets the lowest health first loses. This one had at least the foresight to add an entire story to it. And I mean, the characters are goofy as hell. I will always remember there's like a fight towards the end of the game where you literally have to beat up some grunts for their key cards, and they're literally just in the bathroom, and you just listen to them talk for like 3 minutes while they're actively taking a pee.
That's
And it's
beautiful.
just, it's so good because then you fight them, and I'm pretty sure your partner makes comment about how they didn't wash their hands first, and it's like, buddy, I don't even think the sinks work.
You gotta get your priorities in order.
Yeah, but no,
Defend
like
the base
it's
first, wash your hands second.
yes, sir. Well, and they're unconscious now, so it don't matter. But it's such a good game. I mean, it's visually stunning. It's a ton of fun to play, and I think it's like, as far as like fighting games go, it definitely takes its own approach, and I think it does it really well.
Mhm.
And it's a shame that we only got like 2 in the States.
Yeah, it's more of like an arena fighter where you're kind of plopped down and there's the potential for up to 4 players, right?
Yeah, it's 4-player competitive. I think you can do like teams and stuff or whatever, but yeah, it's 4-player.
Yeah, I think definitely for that layer of customization with like your weapons and movement and all that stuff, they picked arguably the best genre for it. Like, I've never been super big on traditional fighting games. I've done my time, sure, but I think I do prefer those that have a little bit more, I guess, loosey-goosey attitude with it.
Mm-hmm. No, that's fair. I mean, I also appreciated that, like, it was one of those games where, like, you could definitely min-max the crap out of it if you wanted to, but if you really just want to sit down and go, I like these parts, I think it makes my robot look cool or cute or whatever, you could totally do that, and for the most part, it's fine. Nothing was too broken.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say it all felt the same, like, everything definitely played a little bit differently, but it really was almost anybody's game, if you're within that genre enough, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Because obviously not everybody likes robot shooty punchy games, but I'm a fan. I like mechas. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it has a place in my heart, and it actually inspired me to buy the original titles, and I'm still like, I'm actually missing one game, and I own the complete franchise at this point.
Nice, congrats.
Yeah, it's so
Are they
cool.
still making them, or did they kind of wrap it up after GameCube era?
There was a title on the DS. I want to say it was only available in Japan, and that was like the last one, I think. Although I want to really say there might have been one for 3DS in development. If not, it did come out, but I don't think it did. And that's the last I've ever heard of Custom Robo having anything, but I'm pretty sure it's all still owned like by or through Nintendo, so I mean, it is a title they could always go back to at some point.
Mm-hmm. Or at least do a spin on the series. At least, like, have that kind of mech customization creation and pit you against your friends.
Yeah, just something. Or, I mean, honestly, I'd even take just like a reference to it. Like, I was kind of hoping maybe there'd be like a trophy in, you know, Smash Ultimate or something. Because there was on Melee, there was a trophy in Melee for, I think, like the original N64 models, as well as one from the GameCube era.
Mm-hmm.
But, oh well, unfortunately time will tell, and I can just hope.
Yeah, I hear you there.
I mean, that's a lot of games, unfortunately, but What you gonna do?
Some are fated to just die in obscurity.
Yeah, like Bulletstorm.
Yeah. I think I only ever played that at your place.
What, Custom Robo?
No, Bulletstorm.
Oh, I mean,
Well,
probably.
that and Custom Robo. But,
That was a good title, but I digress.
I mean, didn't Bulletstorm get a, like, remaster or something?
Okay, so here's what happened. Bulletstorm came out, people loved it. If I understood correctly, it didn't sell too well, and the company kind of split up the teams.
Mm-hmm.
They then brought them back together a couple years later and said, okay, look, we're going to make a remaster for you on, like, Xbox and PS4.
Mm-hmm.
And if it sells well enough, we'll consider making a sequel, and then it sold nothing. So the teams, I think, got, like, dissolved or something, and I don't think we're ever going to see a true sequel to Bulletstorm, which is just sad, because the arcade shooter genre would be really cool to have about now.
Mm-hmm. I know there's a couple, like, indie games. Ultra Kill immediately comes to mind.
See, that one
helped
does
fill
it
that
pretty
niche.
good. My only thing is, it's missing that really fun, gritty commentary that Bulletstorm had.
Also
There's,
valid.
you know, there's something satisfying about, you know, your character kicking a dude into a cactus while calling him a fuck knuckle. I mean, you know, like, you don't get that every day, and just having that happen, like, every 2 seconds is just, mwah. It was perfect for a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I guess that's my time with the cube, and I guess I will, concede the floor for your first system.
Yep. Fittingly, I also chose the GameCube as my first system.
Yay!
Though, whole different set of games. I think the first one I'm going to go with was one of the first games I played on the console, and that's going to be Sonic Adventure 2.
Ooh, solid choice.
Like, I can remember at least 3 of the games that I got with the GameCube, this being one of them. I mentioned Wind Waker earlier, and I think the last one is Sunshine. But I think Adventure 2 is the one that I just continuously come back to over the years, where I can set aside an evening and just blitz through both stories and have a good time in a couple hours.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, well, I mean, not pun intended, but I mean, it is a pretty speedy game, you know?
Yeah.
Especially when you know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. I think this is one of the only games I ever considered speedrunning.
Yeah, interesting.
Where I think Hero Story I clocked in a little over an hour. I think I would want to aim for like sub 50 or something to that effect.
Mm-hmm.
But with a little bit of cleanup, it would definitely be possible.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
plus, I have way too many memories of just going into the Chow Garden and fucking around.
I mean, that's fair. I feel like that was a lot of people. Also, not to completely out you, but I do remember when we were kids, you used to have the poster on your door.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's a very
I
distinct
remember
memory.
that poster.
Yeah, it was like right on the outside of the door. I remember that like very distinctly.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, I don't think I have any Sonic posters right now, but I was gifted a figure for Frontiers
nice.
for my birthday the other year. Plus, I actually got to go see the Sonic Orchestra tour.
Ooh, very
And
cool.
the back half was just a like rock concert of all the big vocal themes over the years, and myself and the rest of the crowd were eating that shit up.
Oh, I mean, you just lived like every autist's dream, so.
Fitting. Second game on the list. There have been a couple toss-ups on here, and I could easily swap them out. But I
I'm
think
sure.
ultimately, Smash Bros. Melee.
Good pick, for sure.
Like, this one was actually a game that I never owned. I only ever played it at, like, my grandma's house or at a friend's house. But just the amount of time that I've put into it, playing, like, the arcade mode and adventure mode. Like, adventure mode especially, I think, is something I'd like to see again in future Smash games,
I
or at
mean,
least some kind of platforming mode like Brawl Subspace Emissary.
I think that's more what fans would definitely want, and even myself included. I think like a true Subspace Emissary sequel would be kind of cool. I mean, like not like a direct rip or a direct sequel, just something to that level.
Yeah. Like, I think the Spirits and Ultimate were a good step in the right direction, having themed battles based around characters.
Mm-hmm.
I'd just like to see a little bit more of, like, some kind of platforming or other sort of challenge to tie the whole package together.
Yeah, not just, hey, can you go beat up Yoshi, please? Also, he's pretending to be Birdo right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
And
okay,
also now
cool.
there's 20 Yoshis.
Yeah, like, okay, dude, I mean, that's fine, but, like, tell me to go break the targets or something.
I
Anything
also liked
else?
how, just on the topic of Break the Targets, how each character had their own individualized challenge for it. And it wasn't just the same
Oh, yeah.
challenge for everyone.
Well, I think
I
that
get that it's a
was...
lot more work,
Yeah, but, like, let's be
especially with the
fair.
roster we have now.
Every character moves a little bit differently. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that was kind of the beauty of it, is, like, you now get this opportunity to kind of figure out their movement.
Mm-hmm. And
So
even
that
some of their weird
was...
quirks, like how I think with young Links, you had to wall jump out of the starting area, otherwise you just could not progress. I could
Yeah.
not figure that out as a kid.
Well, yeah, because it's not like intuitive, and you're like, it's in a weird fighting game where it's like, yeah, there aren't platformer elements, but it's like, oh yeah, he has them.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Bing Bing Wahoo don't, but sure.
I thought he had wall jump in Melee.
I don't remember him having it in Melee, but I also could be misremembering. I haven't played it in like a decade plus.
That's fair. I think I like picked up a totally legal copy for my computer and just fucked around with it in college.
Fair enough.
Final game then on the
me.
list. Favorite game of all time. Tales of Symphonia.
Yeah, you're always a
Like,
Tails head.
yeah, and like I've tried keeping up with the series. Sometimes, like with the recent entry Arise, I'll just like get near the end and drop it for whatever sparkly new game comes along. But like Symphonia probably has my favorite roster of characters and the general like story and vibes.
Yeah.
The gameplay does feel a little bit more dated compared to some of the more recent entries, especially since you can't free run. You're kind of stuck on that 2D axis.
That's a little weird.
But I distinctly remember picking this up from Blockbuster as my first like JRPG experience, and I instantly fell in love.
Okay.
And then I forgot the name of the game and struggled to find it for like 2 or 3 years.
Well, given the time frame, I don't think the internet quite what it is today.
Oh yeah.
So
Like eventually I figured it out by like those YouTubers who would just upload boss fight footage. Master LL Omega something or other.
yeah.
Omega Evolution, that's what it was. I haven't thought about him in a long time.
I'm not sure I ever watched them, but I have seen those kind of videos before.
Hmm. I think it was a bit more popular before like the idea of streaming and let's plays really came into the mix, where you almost had to have that extra layer of commentary from whoever's playing.
No, for sure. Yeah, no, I mean, my only real memories with those, because I never played them, because I'm going to be honest, I'm not really a JRPG guy. Like,
Valid.
Pokemon is about as far as I'll ever go. And that's because,
Hmm.
for my simple brain, it's just easy to pick up and go, because, like, I understand the type chart. Yay. But, you know, I do have fond memories of, like, when we were kids, and you would, like, come over after, I don't know, like, one of the football games or something, and it'd be like, we'd put it on the Wii, and I'd just watch it play, and it's like, this is cool.
Yeah. Like they definitely add that extra layer of complexity between like all the game mechanics and the absolutely bonkers storylines half the time.
Yeah, no,
But
that's definitely it.
mhm. I've always had a soft spot for them.
Yeah. I would like to note, though, while we were talking, something did just kind of ding in the back of my head. I had my Akira moment for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember Billy Hatcher?
I do. I briefly thought about putting it on the list.
Man, they should make a sequel to that. If Klonoa can come back, Billy Hatcher can come back.
At the very least, give us a modern imagining of it.
Oh,
Like,
dude, yeah, if you
I
could
will,
fix the controls, hell yeah. Day one buy.
if that gets ported to NSO, I'm going to be so happy.
Hold on, hold on. I want to make a gentleman's agreement with you right now.
All right.
If Billy Hatcher at any point comes to NSO, if not a remake, comes to the Switch 2, if we both have the system, we need to do like a speedrun race or some shit, like live on Twitch.
100%.
If not just like off stream and just like upload the videos, but either way, we just need to like compete with like this childhood classic. Because I remember you and I trying to get into YouTube and we were trying to do like a gaming thing on my mom's crappy little Canon.
Right, yeah.
I say
And
that. It was
Billy
good at the
Hatcher was
time.
the game we chose, I think.
Yeah, because we were going to be like the Game Grumps before the Game Grumps, and then we didn't.
Well, you know.
I mean, we were like 10, but...
Yeah. We did the best we could with the tools we had. Unfortunately, we didn't quite understand what it took to do that sort of thing.
Yeah. But hey, now we're like 30, it's fine.
We have only slightly more of an idea of what we're doing.
I'm slightly smarter, I'd be further along, but alcohol happened.
That's a mood.
Oh, buddy, I got some stories.
Or just like the general desire to do fuck all and just play more games.
Well, you know, that is the gamer lifestyle. No, but yeah, it's definitely some solid picks. Yeah, I'll move on. I just do want to say, interesting that we have at least one. I would consider that a check on the, or a tally on the list of crossovers at this point. We both picked GameCube. But that's the only tally because we did not have any games line up. So that's interesting. So
we'll just
see.
have to see if we have another system in common here.
Well, I feel like the one definitely might not, but this next one there's a small chance. And that's the PlayStation 3. And
interesting choice.
So originally I had the PS4.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was... Well, actually, that's not even true. I had the Sega Pico. But then I was like, no, PS4. Because I've had some really good times on the PS4. And then I really thought about it. I'm like, no, when I think of like really good Sony systems, I think back to the 3.
Mm-hmm.
And specifically with things like Crisis 2. I got it from like GameStop for like $10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Played like the campaign like 2 or 3 times. It's a really good game.
Yeah. Amusingly, I've never actually touched a Crisis game.
I mean, like I've only ever played 2, and I think there's like 5 of them or something stupid. Maybe it's only 3. I don't know.
It might be 3. I remember them kind of being like the benchmark for how well your PC can perform.
Well, yeah, because they did that little stupid coding thing where basically every object would change the number of polygons depending on how close you were to them and whatever processor you had.
Mm-hmm.
So they like all but brick your system every time you try to play the game.
Got it.
Yeah, like there's a reason the joke was, can it run Crisis? And it's like, well, no, because Crisis is literally built to expand to capacity.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I mean, Crisis 2 is like the one thing, and it's just such a good shooter. I don't remember like a whole lot because unfortunately it has been years and many games have come and gone in its time.
Mm-hmm.
But like when I do think back to my days of playing on the PS3, it was like one of my first big shooter titles, and it was definitely one where it's like, this is good. This system is solid. It's definitely a step up from the 2.
Yeah, I never really got to mess around with the PS2 outside of just like retroactively playing some of those games. But I also jumped into the PlayStation side of things with the PS3, and I feel you there. Like Uncharted, Modern Warfare 2 especially. Lots of really good shooters of the era.
Yeah, which, funny enough, on my list is actually Modern Warfare 3, because when I was thinking about the Modern Warfare series, which I have said to this day the original Modern Warfare's 1 through 3 are some of the best storytelling Treyarch has ever done.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was Infinity Ward, at least for those. I think
You know
Treyarch
what?
was
Yeah,
Black
sorry.
Ops.
No, yeah, it was Infinity Ward. I'm sorry. But, like,
It,
it told a good story, and it did it in such a good way. And just the characters were, once again, I've said this before with other titles, but, like, they're endearing, and, like, it's... Like, Captain Price is forever ingrained in my head. But, like, that Captain Price, not the new one.
yeah.
And, like,
it was
that
still,
soap.
like, a nice mix of, like, action set pieces versus just general run and gun shooting.
Oh, yeah. Well, and also, like, in my opinion, it scaled really well, because, like, one was very, like, real. In the sense of, like, at least for us, like, we were fighting in Afghanistan, and here is this title that's basically that. And it was almost 1-to-1. And then it slowly started just building upon itself and just getting crazier and crazier and crazier. And,
Yeah,
like, we
I
can't,
think-
you know, it's nuts.
Yeah, I think after that, like, golden age of Call of Duty, from, like, Modern Warfare 1 through 3, and then, like, Black Ops 1 and 2, I feel like the series just started to spiral into trying to constantly one-up itself.
Well, it took a page out of the Fast and Furious book before that even happened, where it was like, we're just going to get way too crazy. Because, like, Black Ops 3 definitely is where the decline started. But,
Yep.
I mean, those original 3 Modern Warfares are definitely where it's at. And yeah, I mean, for sure, Black Ops 1 and 2 definitely can be included in that, but just to put a title on the list, I had to pick 3. I had to pick the final one. I mean, it was like the grand finale to this trifecta.
Yeah, I consider putting 2 on my list, but that's just, like, the only Call of Duty I properly owned. I think I borrowed, like, Black Ops from my cousin at one point, but...
Ah, that's fair. Which, I want to quote something, but I just want to make sure I'm saying the right thing, because, you know, sometimes I misremember things.
It's okay, you can mess up a quote. I won't notice.
Oh, no, I mean, like, I want to say which game had no Russian in it? Was that 2
That
or
was
3?
2.
Because, I mean, like, the fact that they did that, I think is always, like, one of the craziest things. Just
Like,
the
it doesn't
concept.
glorify it at all. It's dark, it's visceral.
Well, that's just it. They play it so straight. And it's just like, hey, by the way, you are now actively shooting, like, civilians. It's just like,
And
what
they
the
even give you
fuck?
the option to skip it because it's so potentially bad.
Yeah, no, like, it's insane. But, you know, there's a reason it's on here. It's just too good not to mention. Although, to bring back the tone just to something a little bit lighter, something I have very, very fond memories with, and funny enough, most that's because you and I used to play this online over the telephone, you know, because we didn't have computer call-y things at least available as easy. And
Yeah,
that's
we just did not have Skype and such.
or Discord. Little Big Planet 2.
Yeah,
I
that's a
think
classic.
I think it's the better of the series because I think 3 started to get a little too zany, and then like the weird open world one on like PS4 was definitely taking it way too far. But Little Big Planet 2 is just so good.
I 100% agree. Like, especially looking back at some of the levels that people have created over the years, and just that level of creativity out the box. Like, someone made a whole, like, Diablo clone.
Oh, that's just it. It's kind of like Geometry Dash. Like, you were given this very small box of tools, and people just took it to its extreme. Now, obviously, they weren't all perfect, because, like, my memories were things like that jank-ass Survival Island thing we did, or that weird Mortal Kombat where you could rip off your opponent's arms and they just wouldn't respawn.
Wasn't there, like, a weird Jeff the Killer one, too?
Yeah, he, like, would stab you, and then it would just, like, cut to a zoom-in of him just, like, crying or something.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, I think we got stuck in, like, an infinite loop. Because you would, like,
Probably.
drop onto him and then immediately get scared, die, respawn above him, and it just kept happening. But yeah, like it was just it stood for something, and it did a really good job. And I'm happy to say that this thing ran so that Astrobot could fly.
Yes.
But
and I'm very happy to see that Sackboy appeared as like one of the optional bots
yes,
in Astrobot.
because he is gone but not forgotten, and all the Sack people, I think, will live on in every fan's heart, probably till the day they die.
Yeah,
So
it'll be interesting to see if they do anything with that kind of formula. Like, a relatively simple platformer with the creation tools handy.
So, with the potential of the PlayStation 6 and a new handheld around the corner, and with all the success of Astrobot, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they gave us like a Mario Maker-esque title, but using Astrobot and the various costumes. I could see that being like a real possibility.
Yeah,
but
I think Astro would be a very good fit for a game of that style.
Well, because, it felt kind of like a Dreams-esque, look what I could build with this simple development tool. And I think it's family-friendly enough that, like a game builder, garage style, hey, go at it, would be perfectly fine.
And it's already like a celebration of all things PlayStation, so it's not out of the ordinary to be tossing them in all these weird situations.
Oh, exactly, yeah. So, I mean, I think that'd be perfectly fine. And it would, again, it would let Little Big Planet kind of live on just a little bit more.
Agreed.
So, that was my 2. So what do you got for your 2?
I'll go ahead pick something tangentially related, that being the PlayStation 4.
Hey, let's go.
Like, much as I love the 3, I think just the 4 specifically had certain experiences that couldn't really be replicated. And, like, some of these I think I did play on other consoles a lot, like the 5 mostly, but these are where they really came out or when I noticed them. First of which being Final Fantasy XIV.
Okay, I mean, that's a good one, I think, to pick.
Yeah. I think this now holds the record for the most hours I put into a single game with roughly 1,100? Maybe 12?
That's impressive.
And just the sheer amount of content I have yet to experience.
Yeah.
A lot of it will be grinding, of course. But I don't mind a bit of a grind. The overarching story and characters, especially as you get into later expansions. And then just the kinds of experiences you can have in a multiplayer online setting. Like, I've made some good friends playing this game. And that's not something a lot of games can really do.
No, I would say it's anymore. It's far and few between. So that's awesome.
Moving on, we got some of my weirder picks on this list. First up being AI: The Somnium Files.
I don't think I know that one.
This one is a murder mystery visual novel. The main director is a guy by the name of Uji Koshi, who's famous for making a lot of really weird visual novels with, like, branching timelines and such. But in this one, you're playing a police detective of sorts, trying to investigate a serial murder case. And to do so, you enter the dreams of potential suspects to try and glean whatever information you can.
Okay.
You also have an AI eyeball, the AI ball, who acts as kind of your main companion through the whole adventure. And she is fantastic.
I was like, is this the one that's getting a sequel on the Switch?
Technically it already had a sequel.
Oh.
That being Nirvana Initiative. That one was also very good. I think I just like the original a little bit better.
No, that's fair.
Uh,
I pulled up the listing on Steam and I saw Kaname Date, and I'm like, I know that name.
yep, that's the one that's getting ported to the Switch 2. In fact, I've already pre-ordered the Switch 2 copy of the game before I had any access to the Switch 2 itself.
Nice.
So I am fully prepared to wait it out for this game.
I mean, yeah, if you like the franchise that much, for sure. I mean, that's.
Hmm. Like, I've always had a soft spot for murder mysteries, and you'll kind of see that in a later entry on my lists. But I think this one just takes the insanity factor up to 11.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't blame you. I think they're good. I know I was playing one called, like, Murder by Numbers or something.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't
it's.
think I've done that one.
It was free through the Epic Store, like, a year or so ago. Basically, it's a murder mystery visual novel thing, kind of like Phoenix Wright almost.
Mm-hmm.
But to do the puzzles, you have to solve nonograms, or as most people know them as Picross.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, so you have to like solve the puzzles, and they would like the picture that it makes is like the clue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
it's sounding vaguely familiar now that you're talking about it. I might have to do one of those. Or, like, check it out one of these days.
no, for sure. But yeah, no, I mean, that's definitely a solid pick. I mean, definitely one that's like out there, but it's. I mean, it sounds fun for sure.
Yeah. It goes on sale pretty frequently, and you can get, I think each entry is around the $5 to $10 range when it is.
I might have to check into it because I know there's like a big sale going on like right now, so that might even be on there.
Mm-hmm. I think, yeah, Switch and PS4 and PC. PC ports can be a mixed bag. Like, they might crash every now and again. But definitely worth checking out.
Okay. Well, definitely for
And
sure.
speaking of big story games that are worth checking out, 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim.
That sounds very familiar.
It's made by Vanillaware, who did like Dragon's Crown and Odin Sphere, and the more recent. Oh, what was the game? It's not Triangle Strategy. It's Unicorn Overlord. That's the one. They have a very distinctive art style. But in this one, you take control of 13 high schoolers in a very convoluted sci-fi story. Each of them gets a mech that they use to take on alien threats. And just watching the absolutely insane narrative unfold with all of its individual plot threads is a treat.
Yeah, it sounds intense.
Mm-hmm. This is one I had basically marathoned with Ben once we realized it. Like, I think I just picked it up on just on a whim. I think I saw people talking about it and it's just like, cool story game, let's give it a try. And we were hooked immediately.
I mean,
Like,
at least knowing you from years ago, this doesn't surprise me.
mm-hmm. You did mention, like in Mecha, this is kind of like my Mecha entry.
Yeah, I will say, I really need to get you to meet my buddy Jimmy. I think he'd love you. Your interests seem to align very well.
Yeah, I'd be down for it one of these days.
But, no, that's awesome.
There's only so many praises I can sing without getting into spoiler territory, but
Fair
it
enough.
is definitely worth checking out. And that about wraps up my PS4. There were like a couple honorable mentions. The new God of War series was pretty good.
I still haven't played the second one, but that first one, yeah, I mean, as a huge God of War fan, I gotta say, they did a really good job bringing it back in just a slightly different way.
Mm-hmm. Ragnarok is basically the first one, but more.
Yeah, it's kind
And
of what I got out of it.
I think I did ultimately like Ragnarok more than just that first reimagining. So
Interesting. Okay.
I'll need to replay it and actually check out the DLC to really solidify it.
Yeah. I just need to play it. I just haven't.
Hmm.
It lives in the backlog with way too many things.
I'm with you there. I will buy something completely intending to play it, and I never do.
I
Like,
think
I have
my
Shadow of Mordor. I never touched it.
I think my issue was I bought the collector's edition, which like I stopped doing that,
Hmm.
but I did for this one. And the issue was that you don't get a physical game, you got it digitally, and I don't think about digital
Uh,
games. So
yeah,
it lives on
I
my
get that.
PS it lives on the PS5 and it's just like it's there, but I just don't touch it.
Yep, yep.
Uh yeah, that's but no, I mean those are definitely good for
Mhm.
sure. Uh,
Plus the previously mentioned Persona 5. That one was
that
top
was
notch
definitely a
too.
big fan favorite for a lot of people and who love Persona. I heard that's like one of the best.
Yeah. Personally, I'm more of a Persona 4 person, but 5 is
Understandable.
really solid, especially in the gameplay department.
Yeah. I would like to note on the PS4, it's my first time actually getting to play virtual reality, and I think it's cool that they were the system to do it.
Hmm.
Although the PS5's VR is definitely a lot better.
Yeah, I didn't get to mess around with PlayStation VR. I might consider it one of these days, money permitting, but most of my VR is with Oculus Rift 2.
Fair enough. I got an Oculus as well. I don't know which one. Um, my old
I
PC
don't know.
couldn't handle it. My new one might be able to, but I gotta double check the graphics card.
Yeah, Rift is one of those standalone ones, so you don't need to attach it to anything, not even a computer. And I got to play Resident Evil 4 in VR,
Wait,
and that was a great experience.
do you mean Quest?
You might be right about that.
Because I say Quest is the ones those are like they stand alone or they like connect to your phone or whatever.
Yeah, I think it was a Quest actually. Quest
Okay.
2 specifically, but
No, but Oculus does a good job.
mhm, mhm.
But very cool. Well, for my final thing, funny enough, I actually have all three of the games I'm about to talk to literally sitting next to me because I had to take a picture of them the other day.
Mhm.
So starting off, I should probably say it. It's the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, or more colloquially known as the SNES,
Nice, nice.
because that was the system I grew up with. Like,
Yeah, that was also my first console at home, and I have like distinct memories just of Yoshi's Island and Mario World, but
yeah, I mean
GameCube was really
that's
where I got my start.
well. See, that's the thing. Like, GameCube made me a gamer, but SNES is where I really started to get my footing,
Mhm.
and I gotta really attribute the journey to that.
Yeah.
So, and one of those titles is Aladdin, which I know was on the Genesis as well, but mine was on
Mhm.
obviously the SNES, and I love the Aladdin game. It's good. Although as a
Yeah.
5-year-old, it was tough as shit, and I never beat it. But
Yeah, I heard that's the case with both Aladdin and The Lion King. Both of those
yeah,
being really solid, but will kick your teeth in.
well, there's like no checkpoints, no saves, so like you just kind of die. And this was also at a time where like games would give you passwords,
Hmm.
but without internet, I couldn't look them up or go anywhere, so I was just kind of stuck.
Yeah, I never
But
quite figured out passwords until a while after that.
yeah, but it was a good time, and you know it's funny enough because like this is a system where like me and my sister kind of had to share it because it was like my dad's,
Hmm.
and I've got a lot of good memories of just playing games with her like at a time when we would do those kind of things because then I mean she hated me for years, but you know whatever. So Aladdin was good, but what I liked a little bit more was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Turtles in Time. My introduction to the side-scrolling beat 'em up.
Hmm. Is that the one that had the famous like underwater level?
I couldn't tell you because
Or
I don't even know how far I used to get.
Yeah.
What I can tell you is that sometimes when I do like little victory things, I hear in the back of my head the cowabunga that they would yell.
Nice.
But it was just
Yeah,
like
I never.
so good.
Yeah, I haven't played that one. There were a couple on the GameCube that I had borrowed from Blockbuster
Hmm.
that I have memories playing. But honestly, that franchise is basically meant for beat 'em ups, especially multiplayer beat 'em ups.
Yeah. Well, like I played like the Cowabunga collection like a few years ago, and I more recently picked it up.
Hmm.
I haven't played it; it's still sitting in the wrapper, but one day.
You'll get your chance.
But I mean, like it's first of all, I like TMNT. I think it's hard not to like them.
Hmm.
But then just like again, like the side-scrolling beat 'em up is just such a fun genre, especially when you're a kid, where the only thing you know how to do is just button mash. Like it works.
Yeah.
And then it's good. It's good.
Yeah, I agree. Like, TMNT was something I never super got into, but I can appreciate it for what it is.
And then the big one is, funny enough, a title you mentioned, and I'd love to see if you could guess it.
Ooh. Like, I know when we started this section, I explicitly name dropped Mario World and Yoshi's Island.
I'll give you a hint, it's one of those, so do a 50-50 and take a guess what you think my number one is on the SNES.
Let's go Yoshi's.
Unfortunately, it is Super Mario World. I didn't play Yoshi's Island until I was like a teenager.
Okay. Yoshi's was like my number one game back then.
Nope, fair enough, it's a good game. But yeah, Super Mario World has always been my title.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so much so that a few years ago I had to take a work trip out to Pittsburgh. And there's this bar arcade thing called Pins. Oh, excuse me. They have a bunch of arcade cabinets set up. They also have 2 retro emulators mounted to one of their walls. Me and my buddy,
Gotcha.
we were, it was late at night. We were hanging out after working for the day. We both got a big ass pint. We sat down and we were just going through it. And I'm like, oh shit, Super Mario World. I love this game. And he was like, I have no idea what that is. I'm like, hell yeah, dude. So we 2-playered it. And over the course of me, like, not chugging, but kind of quickly drinking this drink, I speed ran that entire game.
Yeah, it goes quick if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, and I'm one of those
That's
people.
one
I do.
very recently revisited thanks to NSO.
Oh yeah, dude. When that thing came to NSO, like I re-upped my skills because it's one of those few games that I can kind of muscle memory my way through it to such a level that I can get to Bowser pretty quickly. But I just like, it's one of those games for me where like the music plays in my head from time to time, all the little sound effects. I mean, obviously people reminisce about it enough because you can hear it in internet videos. Specifically those sound effects.
Yeah,
It's just,
like I think World was able to refine a lot of the Mario formula up to that point, and
for sure,
it's a fantastic game. Still, probably one of the best 2D Marios. Like, Wonder was really solid. Mario Bros. Wii had its time.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing is, right, this did for the Mario franchise what Wonder has done for it in recent times. Where it kind of said, okay, look, 1 was cool but very basic. 2, getting a little weird. 3 definitely got really weird. Land was kind of boring.
Yeah.
But this, World, this is it. This is Mario.
Agreed.
And, I mean, even for me, like, I would still pick this over, like, any of the new Soup titles. And,
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing coming close to this for me would be Wonder. And that's just because they really refined the movement.
Like, New Soup almost kind of blends together and doesn't quite have that, like, speed or snappiness to it that World and now Wonder kind of have.
For sure.
And then Wonder at least has the whole, like, titular Wonder Seeds to just remix entire levels whole scale.
Yeah, no, like, they definitely did a really, really bang-up job with it.
Mhm.
I will say on the point of new soup, though, the biggest thing for me was the first one on the DS. I think did a good job, but that's only because it kind of encouraged the exploration because it was like, oh, well, what happens if I find a mini mushroom and I go back to this one little pipe I saw 2 levels ago? So
Mhm.
that was kind of cool. That was kind of nice. It also had,
Plus, I did like the
gambling.
introduction of the star coins, just like more
That was
collectibles
nice.
within the level.
When it wasn't a big ask, it was like 3. So that's
Yeah,
golden. I also like the gambling mini games. I wish they'd bring those back.
yeah.
I
I
want
played
to.
those a lot through Mario 64 DS instead of New
Mm.
Soup, but the same idea.
No, I
Like
mean literally, yeah,
playing
same thing.
poker with Luigi, still top 10 road trip.
Oh yeah, no, I mean I remember taking a trip up to like South Dakota, and I remember playing like the stupid Yoshi "Does She Love Me, Does She Not" game like 100
Mhm.
times, and then losing all my coins to Luigi and being like, "This is bullshit."
I think it was that and the wanted one where you have to pick out
Yeah.
a scrolling face.
No, yeah, for sure. That's definitely one of those ones where it's like it had a lot going for it,
Mhm.
but still, even at the end of the day, it didn't have all the flair of like extra mini games and stuff. But I still think Super Mario World is definitely like for me where it's at.
Mhm.
Also, the rumor is that the next Mario movie is going to be that, so very excited.
Yeah, or at least like something related to Yoshi's, just because of the end credit sequence.
Yeah, I mean,
If they do some kind of Yoshi's Island slash world tie-in,
I
I'd
heard
do it.
a rumor that Universal leaked the title as being Super Mario World. So,
Okay, fair enough.
based purely on that, I'm really excited to see at least Roy up on the big screen because Roy's my boy.
Hmm.
But I mean, Koopa Kid recognition would be just nice.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that's handled. Like, I know there's the whole like history of who's his mom.
Yeah, I mean, Shiggy knows, but he won't tell us.
I mean, as far as we're concerned, he's the mom.
Well, yeah, I mean, with the princess cap and the double cherry, it's golden.
Oh yeah,
I've read that webcomic way too many times. Keeps popping up in my feed like a bad reminder.
yeah. People really rolled with it. Not that I, not that I mind or am surprised by, but damn, that crown really just destroyed the internet.
I mean, the second they were like, hey, look, we turned a little toad thing into a peach copy. Isn't this neat? Rule 34 artists rubbing their hands together. Ha 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 ha.
Like, they put any woman in a Nintendo preview, and the artists have something uploaded within like 15 minutes these days.
I can attest to the fact that after Mario Kart World, there were definitely pictures of Princess Peach in those booty shorts, like almost instantaneously.
Hmm. My mind immediately goes to like Sonya and some of the other reveals in the Pokemon games recently.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not surprised, but y'all can chill out just a little. Let them finish the presentation before you
I
go uploading, please.
I think it's a statement on the world when the second they show a woman that's about middle age in the Pokemon universe and the comments immediately become mommy.
Agreed.
I am both proud and disappointed to be in this community.
There's, it takes all kinds of people to build a community.
Yes, it do. And the worst part is, it's the freaks who are probably putting most of the money into it. So
Yeah.
we salute
Freak
you.
internet freaks make the world go round. On that lovely note,
Yeah, I'm good with the SNES. So what's your number one?
yeah, tangentially related, the DS, since we were kind of talking about that.
Oh, that's a really good one. I almost put the 3DS on mine at one point.
Mhm. I was tempted just so I could put Fire Emblem Awakening, but I had to pass. Uh, since it's still on topic, let's say Pokemon. Uh, I'm kind of torn between picking Black and White and Diamond and Pearl.
I mean,
Because, like,
I would probably say you got to go with Black and White. I think it definitely did the job just a little bit better.
yeah. Like, and just aesthetically, it is... I liked having the 2D animated sprites. But, like, I'm someone who doesn't necessarily love the more recent 3D iterations. I'm cautiously optimistic for ZA, don't get me wrong, just...
I like
The
the
games
3D
could have been
models.
better.
Yeah, I mean, I like the 3D models, but I definitely think that they washed out the colors and they should have given them more animations, but,
Mm-hmm. Like,
you know.
it just has its charm, is what I'm getting at.
No, 100%. Like, the vibes is definitely the word I would use.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is just
And,
oozing
like,
with personality.
mm-hmm. Plus, I do actually like being forced to use an entire new roster of Pokemon for the time. Because, like, you can
Yes.
always use a Crobat, but, like, when you have no choice but to branch out and try something new, I always try and use, like, a new team of Pokemon that I just haven't used before whenever I play through a Pokemon game for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And that really helped support that idea. Even if I did wind up going, like, all 3 starters, the starter bird, Zubstrika,
Yeah.
Crocodile. But I liked them.
Well, and I think it helped solidify, like, people's fondness for those Pokemon because you were kind of forced into it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I hate to say this, but even things like Scarlet and Violet, like, once you get out of, like, the tutorial phase, oh, look, a Pikachu. Like, okay.
Yep.
Let me only use the new thing, or only use the old things that I'm familiar with and not even try things like Flamigo.
Mm-hmm. Like, I did do fully, what is... I almost called him Kalos. Paldean Pokemon, for my first run of Scarlet Violet. First and only run, I should mention. But going back through, I kind of struggled to think what my picks would be for a team.
Yeah.
And that's just been kind of an ongoing trend for a while now.
No, fair enough. I am hoping with, like, ZA, maybe that'll be kind of fixed a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But
If nothing else, like, I think ZA and being on the Switch 2 is a great chance to improve the lackluster performance that these games have had for the past decade now.
well, I think the problem is that post Sun and Moon, Pokemon as a franchise has definitely gone downhill. And I think it's just because they decided, hey, big open world map thing is cool, but we aren't going to put the time and resources into optimizing the performance at all.
Yeah.
So then you get, like, weird hollow open worlds. And it's like, because don't get me wrong, like, I don't know your opinion on this. I've actually said I think Scarlet and Violet has been one of my favorite Pokemon games in the past couple years. Purely on the sake that I think it had one of the best stories in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you take everything together, it's had one of the best stories. And honestly, it's had some of the best mons to come out of this generation. It's just...
like, I vibed hard with the Paradox Pokemon, and
oh, hell yeah.
I think kind of splitting up the general challenges into the gyms, the Titans, and even if they were a little lackluster, Team Star.
Like, it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I do wish it was more open world, though, and not, hey, you should go, like, fight Katie first, and then go fight Brassius, and then go take on the giant Cloth. Like, maybe let us actually pick our own route. But outside of that, I mean...
Yeah.
It was
like,
a nice
if
split.
they figured out how to scale everything to, like, the amount of things that you've completed, then I think that would have been a much more interesting experience.
Oh, 100%. But, like, once again, I think the story definitely, like, outperformed, like, anything as of recently. Like, I'd say even, like, Sun and Moon, like, the story was just that good. I mean, Arvin with his Mabostiff, The whole thing with Calliope or whatever her fake name was, Penny's alias.
Cassiopeia.
There you go. The fact that Nemona's whole thing is just she's retarded. I loved it, dude. I loved every minute. Hell, I even loved the whole thing with Clive. That was golden. That was so funny. And, you know...
Nemona, top tier recent rival.
Did you play the DLC at all?
I did not. It's something that I'll go back to, but it might be something I wait for Switch 2 just because of the performance patches.
Okay, I'm gonna just, like, very minimal spoiler here. I'm just gonna say this much. If you love Nemona now, please get the DLC, and then just play till you get to the part where you have to do the, whatever the post, oh shit, what's the Indigo disc. Because, like, the final secret stuff you do at the end, she does some cool stuff, and I absolutely love her even more for it.
Yeah, she's great.
But no, like, she is, like, perfect. I think she encapsulates what a rival should be if they're going to be, like, your best friend.
Yeah.
Because, like, How and Hop were crap.
She is a best friend rival that is constantly pushing you to be better, excuse me, but doesn't, like, grovel at your feet for every minor accomplishment.
No, and she's also very competent, because, like, if she wanted to kick your ass, she could.
Like, she's done this before. She's doing this for fun.
Like, she's, for all intents and purposes, like, the champion. I mean, outside
and her
of the...
fight was harder than the champion.
Well, let's be fair, Gita's an idiot.
Yeah.
Yes, my ace is the setup Pokemon, and we're going to use them last. Also, surprise Go-Goat. Like, okay, cool. Freaking sick,
there were
dude.
So many better choices that she could have made.
I mean, first of all, have all Paldean Pokemon, but, you know.
Yes.
Also, maybe not have a team that's susceptible to Torch Song 500 times.
In all fairness, I wound up picking Sprigatito, because gotta love Wheat Cat.
Oh, I mean, I picked Quaxley first, and then when I played through Scarlet, I ended up doing Fuecoco.
Yeah, I'll probably do Fuecoco on a second playthrough, if I get to that point.
I mean, you gotta catch up. I've already played through the game like 4 or 5 times, from start to finish.
Valid.
I did challenge runs, and I had a good time with it. But I digress.
With the open-ended nature, I'm sure Nuzlocking and other similar challenges are very odd compared to how they were in the past. But...
I mean, I did one where I did... I still play Pokemon Go. So I did a challenge where for, like, one day, I went to the park, and anything I caught or hatched, I could only use those Pokemon up to a certain CP, and I transferred them all into the game the second I could. And that was my team, was the first 6 that I sent in.
Nice.
I couldn't switch, I couldn't do anything, and I couldn't over-level. So it made it this really fun challenge of, like, who do I have, what do I not have?
Yeah.
So, like, I did that as a run. That was really cool. I also did one where, like, after every major battle or fight, I had to completely switch my team. And I could never use those Pokemon or anything related to them ever again. With the one exception being, like, I think Evolutions. I think I was given the pass where if I use, say, like, a Leafeon, I could still end up using, like, a Glaceon down the road. But if I used an Eevee, I could never use anything ever again.
That makes sense.
But, like, I did that start to finish, the full DLC. It was good. But, you know,
just
that's...
something to shuffle up the teams would be a solid idea. Or even just, like, limiting the number of Pokemon you can use depending on, like, what challenges you're doing.
I actually would really vouch for them having a setting where you could put, like, a hard level cap so your Pokemon physically cannot gain experience until after a certain point.
Like, if you're going to force the XP share, please allow us to enable a level cap.
Yeah, because, like, the number of times where it was like, oh, I forgot about this, like, Clodsire sitting in the back of the bag. He's at, like, level 80 by accident. You know, that's rough.
Like, I think... I did at least 1 or 2 gyms out of order, just based on what I found first. Like, I think I did the Ice gym before the Ghost gym,
Makes sense.
and I just absolutely steamrolled Ghost because that's like supposed to be number 6 or something.
Something like that.
Either way, it's very much a step in the right direction, and I'm curious to see what they'll do for the next mainline. I just
Yeah, for sure.
wish that whatever it is, they give it like an extra year to cook before they release it.
I agree. I think Gen 10 has a lot of pressure on it,
Hmm.
but, definitely lost the cart there for a second. So yeah, Black and White, definitely good titles for the DS. I mean, that was peak Pokemon for that generation, I would say.
Hmm. Like Diamond Pearl had some really good moments. I just remember putzing around the underground for hours at a time,
Well,
and
yeah.
Cynthia is of course iconic.
Oh no, I mean she is infamous for
Hmm.
reasons, and the remakes establish that really well.
Yeah, I've never gone and played the remakes. I've heard they're kind of mid as far as remakes go.
So I think for a lot of people they were expecting a bit more out of it.
Hmm.
I would argue the Underground got just a little bit worse just because of like trying to do Spirit Tomb sucks, but
Yeah, I mean
I
Spiritomb
mean
always sucks.
like the visuals were fine. I definitely think it was a step up. I like the little chibi characters, like that was cool.
Hmm.
They definitely fixed a lot of the fights because like Cynthia got worse in the sense of like her items are better and her Pokemon are like IV trained.
Yeah, like I've heard my Lesnick is like luster scale burn orb.
Yeah, no, like
It just
literally
never dies.
it's like everything on that team is a menace and the Garchomp got even scarier. Like
Yep.
it punishes you for thinking, "Oh yeah, I remember how this used to go. I know what to do." And it's like, "No, you don't. You don't know what to do."
Hmm. It will chew you up and eat you for breakfast.
100%. But no, I mean the remakes were good. I thought they were fine.
Yeah. Maybe one of these days if there's a sale. Not that Nintendo really does sales, but
I mean,
eh,
just get it like used at GameStop or something. It's fine.
yeah, at that point. With that, I think next one on the list has to be Mario Kart DS.
That's a good one.
I I think this was my first DS game. This and Sonic Rush, which was fine. It was all right. Decent Sonic, but I think this is the Mario Kart game I invested the most time into. And I remember like doing some of the developer ghost challenges, which were just really insane and really tight to where like I think I only won by half a second.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. I know sometimes those goes can be rough.
Hmm. Basically had to invent brand new shortcuts.
Yeah. Also, the first Mario Kart, I think that actually had like online play to some extent
Hmm.
because you could do like the weird game share thing.
Yeah, like I don't think I mess around with pure online all that much, but I do remember like on those field trips we had Old Bedford
Yeah.
Village, was it?
Yeah, Old Bedford because
Where
they got the
like
nice buses.
yeah, and we just had a whole big group going, and I got to be part of that, and it was super fun to kick all their butts.
No, like 100%. Like that's one of those like core memories where it's like, what was your childhood? Playing my DS on the bus with my friends, going to old Amish country.
Hmm.
Like, although I do feel bad if she is somehow listening. And I don't remember her name, so I feel bad. But if you're listening and you know who you are, the one girl who I kept lying to, which Picto chat room everyone was in, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
No one liked you.
honestly, I didn't mess around too much in those Picto chat rooms. Like I popped in every now and again.
I did for like a little bit. It was just funny, but I got off after some point because I remember like someone was like, haha, I'm just gonna write the word fuck 100 times. It's like, okay, this is getting old.
Yeah, some people are just I don't know. They should not be trusted with online communication.
Well, hey, I mean, we grew up in the generation with Xbox 360 party chat or whatever, Xbox
Yeah,
Live. So I mean, we
we've
heard
been
some
through the ringer.
things, we've said some things, but you can't cancel me. It's
Many
not
of
on
those.
record.
And it's a good thing that they can't.
Hell yeah, brother. But
That
no,
probably would
definitely.
have been much more of a menace if I actually had, like, a proper voice chat headset sort of deal.
Yeah.
Because, like, didn't Xbox 360 almost come with a rinky-dink little thing?
It came with like one of those like again dating ourselves here, like one of those early 2000s computer room like level headsets where it was like one crappy little microphone that hurt your ear or
Hmm.
little speaker that hurt your ear and then like the little crappy microphone that would like move like you'd like swivel it down from the side and you'd like
Yeah.
plug it into the controller and it sounded so bad.
Hmm.
And yet it picked up
Like,
every sound ever.
I can just imagine the pure audio quality.
I just remember playing against like some Mexican kids where you could just hear like a dog in the background and their mom vacuuming, but it sounded
Yep.
it audibly sounded like it was in 420p.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was rough. It was so rough.
Those were the days. Now everyone's in HD and you can just get canceled.
I have to say, our stuff was definitely different, and you didn't get canceled.
Hmm.
I
And
got
people
called the
acted like it.
I got called the N word by 30-year-olds while I was like 12. Good times.
Yeah, I just remember like a fighting game lobby or two would just get real heated, and I'm like, I'm here to play, and I was comparatively really bad at the game.
Oh, well, let's be fair. We were at a time when like the 30 to 40-year-olds would be like just real sweaty about it.
Hmm. Now we get to be the sweaties.
Well, I'm only sweaty because I'm like 300 pounds. That's different.
Valid.
No, I'm actually pretty decent at games. It depends on the game.
Yeah,
Like
like
I'm shit at
if I had a
Smash.
more yeah, if I had a more competitive bone in my body, then yeah, I'd probably care a bit more. But now it's just like, eh, it's a feature that I won't really interact with.
I agree. Like I'd rather pick up like Stardew Valley or something than like
Hmm.
a FIFA. Like I don't need to compete with you. I don't have to flex my muscles.
Yep, I got nothing to prove.
Exactly.
Um,
Damn.
Bringing it back, final game on the list. We briefly mentioned it in passing. Ace Attorney,
Hmm.
specifically the third one, Trials and Tribulations.
Okay. Okay.
I think this one in particular did a really good job of just wrapping up all the really loose plot threads over the course of the trilogy. And while it did still have the Case 3 problem, where none of the Case 3s in the OG trilogy were all that great, uh, it was still a fantastic experience overall.
Oh, I mean that's a good franchise, so I'm not surprised.
Hmm. Like, I'm excited to see what's new for the series, as, like, Great Ace Attorney was fantastic, but it was also, like, a duology of 3DS games.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like, we haven't had a new entry in, well, almost a decade.
Yeah. That's completely fair. No, they're good titles. I haven't really gotten to experience them too much though. I mean, I played the first one on like Xbox more recently, but
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah,
I like them. I
like,
see why people
OG
like them.
trilogies everywhere. Uh, they recently put out, like, the Miles Edgeworth games, and, come to think of it, Miles Edgeworth 2 was a DS game.
Hmm.
Though I played it on
Okay.
my totally legit DS, so it's hard to really classify it that way.
Yeah. I mean, fair.
Also, they relocalized the names from the fan translation, and I can't get over Eugene Winter.
Yeah, that's quite the name.
He used to be Sebastian de Best, because he was the best prosecutor.
You know, if a franchise is going to have a name like that, I'm not surprised it's Ace Attorney.
Yeah. Point is, like, Ace Attorney has always been a favorite franchise of mine. I think the only one I haven't played is the Layton crossover, but that's just because I'm not big on Layton.
Okay.
And also, it's, like, not available anywhere.
Well, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yeah, I mean...
Yeah. It's trapped on the 3DS.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's fair. I would like to take a second, though, since we're on the topic of DS. I would like to make at least 2 honorable mentions for games I was going to put on my list if I had done, like, DS or 3DS.
Yeah.
First of all, the legendary Starfy. Good game.
Yeah, I remember you being pretty into that one.
Because, you know, it hits a lot of, like, nerves for me, because it's, like, it's a cutesy little game, it has a solid little story, it's just a fun little platformer. It's just a shame that the franchise doesn't get any love outside of the fact that they did port all the original games to NSO. Although they're still only in Japanese.
That was the case.
But, like, it's cool. I do hope maybe one day we'll get, like, an actual sequel, if not, like, a full-on collection. But... The only other one I'd like to point out, this one's definitely one I have really good memories, and actually one with you, funny enough. That'd be Kirby Squeak Squad.
Yeah.
I loved finding all the stuff. I loved mixing the elements and the different abilities. The story was cool. I mean, the Squeak Squad themselves were really neat. And I always remember that time you were over, we were like going back and forth trying to figure it out. Your mom came to pick you up, and then for some reason our moms were like just talking for like an hour outside. And I managed to like actually beat it.
Nice.
And I just remember like running out and being like, "We did it!"
Yeah, I personally don't remember that day. Like, it sounds vaguely familiar. And I remember there were a bunch of games, like, the first thing that came to my mind was Boom Blocks, of all things.
Oh, that's a good one.
But Squeak Squad bleh, was great. Personally, these days, I'm more for Robobot on 3DS.
I really need to get back into that one. I played the hell out of it when it first came out, but it's obviously been a long time.
Like, I think for that one, I had just purchased it before the family took a trip up to New York City. And so I played it, like, on the train and just during a bit of downtime. And that was just a real solid time. Like, I think to this day, that's kind of peak Kirby for me.
It's definitely, like, one of the better ones, in my opinion, as well. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, Lost Lands or whatever, Kirby in the Forgotten Land was good.
Yeah.
Like, I do like that one, but I think between Squeak Squad and Robobot, like, the charm has kind of been lost just a little bit. But, you know, I always have hope. Let's be honest. It's Kirby. He's always just doing some shit.
Yeah. Like, we're getting Air Riders here soon. Speaking of Air Rider, goated game.
The Air Rider is so good. I actually had to check in on Jimmy when Air Riders got announced. I had to make sure he didn't die, because that's literally his favorite game ever.
I was popping off.
Like, anytime there's a game night, he'll sit there and anybody's like, "Hey, what should we play next?" He'll be like, "Kirby Air Ride." It's like, Jimmy, shut up. We did it once. We played it once for him. And he was the only one who knew what he was doing, because it had been too long since I had played and no one else knew what they were doing.
Yep. I still got a pretty confident grip on everything there. At least if my stream was anything to go by.
Yeah, I ended up watching the VOD after the fact. No, you did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, I think Kirby's in a good place. And hopefully, you know, well, the next game will be just as good.
Like, I'm curious to see if they'll kind of continue this 3D approach to its, like, mainline games. And then, just, like, it's a mainstay Nintendo series at this point. We're not gonna be anytime soon.
Yeah, like, for sure, it's evergreen. Like, he's not going anywhere. But The question is like what form, because I can see them going back to 2D just purely on the sake of like Return to Dreamland Deluxe did really good.
Mm-hmm. Like, I won't be surprised if we get Triple Deluxe and Robobot on Switch 2 at some point. Maybe even as like a little package duology.
Well, I know there was like rumors about Robobot coming to the Switch 2 in some shape or form, if not to the Switch as like a remake. I'm honestly waiting for, because how old is Kirby right now?
Kirby's old.
I know, but like what anniversary are you on?
Probably around 35 or something.
Because I know like the last big like super collection they did was his 20th was back in 2012.
So, looks like the first release was Dreamland back in 92. So Kirby's currently 33.
Okay, so give it like 2 years for the 35th anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're lucky, maybe just maybe, maybe we could see like a big master collection again.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it'll have like everything we're missing. Like maybe it'll have like Crystal Shards, HD. Maybe it'll have Robobot.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'm really curious because a lot of the games have come to NSO, including Crystal Shards.
Yeah.
If they'll worry too much about those, just given that they're accessible.
That's a good point. Maybe they won't. Well, maybe we could get like Squeak Squad and Robobot as their 35th. Mass Attack. We get Mass Attack.
Yeah. I know they had Superstar Ultra around that age, which I remember playing a lot too.
That was my introduction to that kind of style of Kirby, since, obviously I didn't have the one on the SNES. But no, that one was nice. I loved playing Great Cave Offensive.
Yeah, Great Cave Offensive, both variations of the arena.
Dynablade.
Dynablade, the introduction of Galactonite.
Yeah. Was that through Meta Nightmare, or was that its own separate thing?
I know it was the mode where you played Meta Knight.
So yeah, Meta Nightmare.
I thought Meta Nightmare was the one where you fought against Meta Knight, but I could be mistaken.
I mean, I also could be wrong. I thought Meta Nightmare was like his story. Well, he's like on his ship, the Halberd, or whatever. Yeah. And he was doing things. I don't know. Fuck it. Let's get a Meta Knight game.
Please.
Let's see what he was doing during Kirby and the bad internet connection. What was that game? The Mirror.
Amazing Mirror.
There it is.
I think he showed up as a boss in that, probably.
There was like a dark version of him that showed up, but I know he like Galactonite pushed his shit in and then threw him through a hole.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd love like an HD remake where you just get to see like his side of the adventure until he meets back up with Kirby and it's like, oh, he did it.
Mm-hmm. I'd be down for something like that.
Give a little more love to your side characters, especially like a huge fan favorite.
Yeah. And then there's Morpho Knight.
Dude, I want to know what they're doing with him and what the plans are for the future, considering you like actively beat him up in Forgotten Land.
Mm-hmm. Like, he's just kind of a guy who shows up and then you beat him up and then he's gone.
Well, because he's supposed to be like the ultimate warrior or something.
Yeah, I think it was in specifically Star Allies. He was a butterfly that absorbed Galactonite.
Yeah.
Yeah, butterfly flutters down from another dimension. I'm wiki crawling at this point.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, I like loosely know his lore because like the butterfly just becomes powerful, and through Galactonite he just is more.
Yeah, Galactonite emerges from a dimensional rift created by Highness. I guess that's a
Yeah.
character from that game. I never actually played Star Allies.
He was like the big priestess guy who was like causing all the bad shit
The
to
main
happen.
villain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then the butterfly comes down, absorbs Galactonite, seemingly disintegrating him in the process, and was reborn.
Yeah, because I like vaguely remember, like I could be very off base, but I feel like you fought Galactonite, beat him up, and then like literally the butterfly lands on him, and then he just disintegrates into like a white powder, and then the butterfly just flies away.
Hmm. And then with Forgotten Land, it just kind of flutters in whenever you are going through like
The true arena or whatever.
yeah, or like the bonus level where they kind of had you like revisit a lot of the older worlds with remixed boss fights.
Yeah, because you fought
Uh,
the lion guy.
and instead of fighting the like wall of flesh thing that chases you, which nightmare fuel in its own right, Kirby loves its weird eldritch monstrosities. Uh, Butterfly just shows up and absorbs it.
Yeah, and then like actually becomes Morphonite, like proper.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm like that's one of those characters where it's like he's cool as hell. I hope he comes back again. Because I mean,
Yeah.
Kirby lore in itself is like just a hodgepodge of crap.
Mhm.
But I mean, the general consensus is like Kirby could become any of these bad guys he's fought previously. Because like,
In theory, yeah.
because isn't he supposed to be like a god that's in like its infancy? And the idea is, depending on how he grows up, he can become like the greatest hero or the worst villain.
Yeah, some kind of like just sheer eldritch being, but its primary emotions are just like joy and loving to eat.
Yeah, because he's just like
And
literally baby.
yeah. And then I think there was like a secret boss in Star Allies where you kind of meet like Kirby, but full of despair or something.
Yeah, it's like in like the final boss, you go like in his chest, and it's just like his heart becomes this thing that has Kirby's face,
Hmm.
but it is like basically just like the embodiment of malice,
Yeah.
which is interesting because like Kirby's whole thing in that game is "I love you unconditionally."
He loves you. He loves cake. He loves his friends.
Oh, hold on, he loves his friends until he needs a fifth one.
Then he
That's
just eats them.
yeah, but yeah. I mean, it's we love Kirby. Kirby's great.
Yeah.
He's a good little boy.
We love him
Yes, sir.
and wish him the best.
Hope to see him do well in Riders.
And whatever future shenanigans he gets into.
I don't know. He's gonna go kill another god or something.
I mean, yes.
He's gonna tell Marks to shove it one more time. Or unless Marks is cool now, I get confused.
I think he's cool now.
I mean, he was cool in Star Allies, but to be fair, like everyone was cool in Star Allies.
Yeah, it didn't matter who you were. You were Kirby's friend.
Yeah. Well, I guess my big.
I'd be down to see like some of these older bosses returning, like you mentioned, Marks, Galactonite,
I mean,
all these guys.
I really want to see like the Squeak Squad return, even if it's just like LaRoche or somebody.
Yeah, I think
But-
LaRoche was he also in Star Allies?
He was for like a little bit, but
Mhm.
he was like a late addition, so I didn't really get to play with him because it was just like I was already moved on to other things.
Yeah,
But I mean, him and like Doc are the big guy. I really want to call him Bunda, but that's not right.
I couldn't tell you.
I don't know. Like that'd be nice to see them come back or something. Honestly, what would be really neat is an actual villain that makes you have to team up with the other villains, not through the power of friendship, just because of mutual interest.
Hmm.
Like actually see Magalore be like, oh, hold on.
Yeah, I know Magalore had like his own little side adventure in Return to Dreamland Deluxe. I still need to like actually play through that one proper.
It was good. I'll give a validation. I got 100% in it. It's good.
Yeah.
Well, I guess my question for you is where can people find you? Because you're my first guest who actually has, like, externals.
Yeah, so on pretty much all platforms, I can be found under the username SilverwindVTuber, all one word. I'll primarily post on Blue Sky anytime I plan to go live, and I usually go live on Twitch. If I'm feeling spicy, I might remember to upload my VODs to YouTube, but that's if, not a guarantee.
I can tell you as a subscriber, it doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, I may have done Tomb Raider from when I streamed that last year, and that's as recent as it gets.
I don't know, I saw some YouTube short because it got recommended to me. That was cool.
Yeah. I never remember to clip myself in the moment, and of course I don't like have the audience to clip for me. So
Yeah.
it's rare that I'll clip, but I'll try uploading that as a short.
Well, I will say the one I saw was funny. It was the dude who kept talking after he died.
Yeah. He was a good one.
But, yeah, because I'll put in the description your, at least your YouTube and your Twitch for sure. Now that I know you have a Blue Sky, I'll probably stick that in there too.
Sounds good.
So, hold on, outro sequence. Da, 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 da. If you liked this, fucking whatever, I don't know, subscribe. Nope. Wrong order.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, whatever. I need to formalize that process better, but those ones. And as always, thank you for baking with us today, and we hope to catch you all in the next one. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.